Hey peeps, Pinkolol16 here in another video of my Enter-Commentate over. We're up to Super Mario 64, The Curse of Invincibility Frames Part 13, Progress and Clearing. This part was, well, just like the other Arc 4 parts, just another means in the step to progression. I was mainly trying to get these out, somewhat quickly, but enough that the script was fine and dandy enough as it was. It was 2015, and I was getting really anxious and really wanted to finish it. So, well, that kind of failed. So, let's watch the part. The good thing is the audience only had to see this 4 times. This is supposed to tie into the other part, how he was just standing there and with his counterpart last time, since he said, oh, we're going to listen, and we're actually going to sit and listen, because that's part of the joke of his character. He never told them. These questions were something I consistently had to make sure I made the characters say, because it makes the characters a bit more realistic in this environment, whereas Starman 3's videos would probably just say, why the heck's Matt's there? Oh, he's there because he wants to listen. Even though they were never told about that beforehand by them, specifically. And if you watched the previous part, the very end of the previous part, you would know that. Because it's the very last scene. I wanted to do something else with the characters other than just make them talk once. It's hard to do that when you have like 20 characters you're dealing with. Okay, this begins the hints to what's happened to the 4th road, because I hadn't made a texture pack yet and I wanted to tie this into a story that Starman 3 was intending to do, I think, or I think Mario did it, but I don't really know. It's one of the two, and they made a texture pack for the area, and Mario didn't make a different one, so I thought, hey, why not tie it into the story, and then in the future I'll fix it up. You'll see what I mean later. Because I'm hinting towards it now, you'll see it later, and it's supposed to mean something. And if that line didn't tip you off, I don't know what would. I'm not gonna put in 10 million transition scenes that of just the characters running. You'll know where they go. That's it. And I realized, oh yeah, I have way too many characters inside. That is true. If you leave me alone for a while, I will actually manage to occupy myself, and I've told others that. And in story, it's a character trait of mine, so the other characters already know that. When I'm making the script, I'm just realizing, oh wait, I've got way too many characters inside. I should probably put a few of them outside since I'm not using them. Yeah, the counterparts don't have to follow the other one everywhere. I wanted to make that very clear. Even after all the times where the counterparts would agree with the characters, sometimes they don't, because they're people too. Yeah, that wasn't a great mask. It's supposed to be co-stars lot. Also, I hated making this scene. It was supposed to be Smuts appearing behind Mario and then he would fall down the stairs in shock. Cartoony logic, sound effects, and lol terrible editing. Everyone's reaction to my horrible editing skills. I'm glad the line actually fit too. Smuts was supposed to surprise him. Ha 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 ha, very funny, very funny. You can laugh at me now. He thought it wouldn't work, essentially. What is with my weird scripting? That's actually not the truth. I've scripted Smuts purposely this way. In a way similar to Matt, but in a way to better show his personality, I guess. I don't know if it's actually accurate, though. He's essentially trying to hide it so he can just get to the room quickly. He wants to get it over with. He doesn't want to go through everyone asking a billion questions. I needed a character like that and I didn't know who to fit it onto, and since Smuts in the group was being a bit of a... in the groups I was in was being a bit difficult, I thought it might be a bit fitting. Now, looking back on it, it's a bit mean, but... I just wanted to make a different type of character. He's being sarcastic here. Smuts didn't happen to be a fan of and doesn't happen to be a fan of Pokemon, so whenever it was brought up, he'd just shy off the fact that this entire room was based around Meloetta. Thanks, Mario. You really help not make your videos look dated. I wanted him to comment on it. I don't know if he was very grateful for it in the end, but whatever. And he woke up the Yoshis. He did, but they're not gonna know that until the end. I know, it's stupid. Everyone's now relegated to sniffer dogs, but in the story it makes perfect sense. It's not very... It's kind of downgrading, but, like, in the story, it's, like, actually supposed to be super mega important. So I don't know how people were really treating this at all. Most people were just thinking, oh yeah, it's just a piece of script to the next collectathon. In fact, that was kind of the problem. A lot of people around the time I was making these videos, these in-between kind of videos where the characters just collect the stars and move on, thought, oh, this series is another collectathon. I purposely turned off the HUD for this particular reason. I didn't have it on, unlike Mario, because that was the point. You needed to get a specific amount of stars, and the people watching needed to keep track, so then the story could progress. But the characters aren't actually collecting the stars here. People look at the animation and think, oh, they're collecting it, but in actuality they're not. The 100 coin star, or whatever star they're collecting, has already been collected. The shadow presence of the star is still there and around. So that was kind of a problem when people would think, oh yeah, isn't this another fetch quest? When in reality they're on a fetch quest to find the star and use it in the area to free the area, because the star's power is what's being used to free the area. The general powers and such wouldn't make any sense outside of the universe that ended up actually having the story in it. But including things like this sniffer dog thing. But this was just how the story was meant to go. I sort of incorporated the sniffer dog thing last minute in terms of how the story was set up. They were going to go to the 4th dimension, and they were going to save their counterparts, but I later incorporated the DST into that, and then, oh dear, now suddenly everyone's turned into some kind of dog. And if you've been paying attention to room placement all this time, you'd realize where the characters are at this point. Below the stairs are the 3 Forons right there. I tend to have multiple scenes of the character in that spot so then you can understand where they're talking in the room. Of course, this kind of fails if you haven't played Star Road or even seen any of it, so it kind of is a problem. But, like, I show various scenes of them talking, and distance doesn't really matter unless it's too ridiculously far away that the characters probably shouldn't be speaking to each other. Like, if it's just above and below the stairs, I usually don't think that's too much of a distance for the characters to be talking to each other. I put a reminder in case you couldn't remember. I now have to retcon Meloetta out because Meloetta was one of my least favorite characters during Into the 4th Dimension, and she had practically no purpose for being there. What was her purpose again? I don't even remember, because of the fact that Mario just made up this random fanon out of nowhere where a Pokemon, which is why it's decorating the room, Meloetta, which is an actual Pokemon, had several forms. Of course, the actual Pokemon has 2 forms, but then he decided, oh yeah, I'm going to use this random fan art I saw on DeviantArt, and I'm going to use it as this Meloetta's 3rd form. What? So that was the first thing that ticked me off. Then the second thing is, throughout the series, she literally does nothing aside from, I think she forces Bomberman to come to the good side. And that's literally it. Like, she doesn't even do anything. So I thought, why is she here? She's not going to relate to this series. And in my series, she's not going to mean all that much in terms of this level. So I'm going to retcon her into a different place now. So she's not in the series, and I'm retconning her here. I really did not like Meloetta during Into the 4th Dimension. I don't remember anybody saying, oh yeah, she's my favorite character, because what was there to remember about her? There were so many other characters worth remembering, including the heroes themselves, over her. Even the naughty notes that they were supposedly stopping during the level were more memorable than she was. So, which were from Rayman or something. So, it's really depressing how her role happened to be, and I really did not want to put her in this if she's going to do literally screw all. Plus, it also brings up the problem, what's her counterpart? If she has 3 forms and the original Meloetta has 2 forms, then where's the balance there? What does the 3rd form do that is equal to the 2 forms in the other world? It makes no sense in this world where everything is supposed to be equal and balanced. And because I couldn't come up with any other darn name for the level. A fancy way of saying I'm getting her out of here. And skip past it, please. Recording fails. Yeah, he came. I didn't mention this, and I don't think I had. I don't know if I did, because in the Silent 3 commentaries, I'm not up to that point in the videos yet. Cyrus came back during 2013 in my group in YTR. Then later on, he became such a good friend. He ended up multitasking through about 3 or 4 different groups. He had, and probably still has, but I'm probably completely unaware of this, nowadays the closest connection to Simon 3 now because of his willingness to forgive. I'm not gonna criticize that since he was in a similar situation to me several years ago. So he has been willing to give Simon 3 about 15 chances since his comeback, and I don't know what has happened to him now since the groups that we were in together I left, and of course, like the rest of them, I haven't spoken to him in years. So he was kind and nice and a great guy, but again, I left and ended up leaving him behind. Also, do you like my sprite work? Ha ha ha. I mean, with the Yoshis. I needed to characterize him properly, so I wasn't going to characterize him as this idiot, especially since Mus and Cyrus were definitely friends. And below is on the very bottom of the harp. That scene took about 5 takes to film because of the way Star Road handles it. I in fact wanted him to run like this, but considering how Star Road's camera angles are and how it functions in comparison to Super Mario 64 and in Movie Maker, oh my god, it is a nightmare. In fact, a lot of the scenes beforehand of me just jumping into the paintings, or in the case of the Skyland Resort place, the vase, some of the most hardest scenes to film because of Mario Maker's inadequacy with this ROM hack. And in case you're unaware of where this area is, he's staring directly down at them. And this is the point where you think, wouldn't this be a stupid distance? I didn't, because of the fact that they were so close. Now, an unreasonable distance would be if I were there to be there with the womp in the background. I wanted to do the reverse thing where I asked Cyrus himself when I was fixing up everybody's 40 thingos that I needed a sort of name like I call him now, so then since he preferred the character to be called his username, I was like, oh, but then he can have that little tidbit of information too, but not prefer it as much. So I can still do the reversals even if it's not in the color code itself. It was a bit difficult to get people to cooperate with that though, since, again, the 4th dimension seemed to just completely be losing interest or whatever. I still want to try and do stuff with the 4th dimension, but there's only so much I can do and nobody else really cares anymore. I could have made so many jokes and nice callbacks. He had that color code had a massive issue with it. Seriously. Oh my god, I regret my past decisions now because of it. They're not actually brothers, I'm just being stupid by scripting him that way. Not sure if he's grateful for this now. If at all. Again, me experimenting with masks. See, he's right there. Yes, the coins respawn too, because I'm pretty sure if you're going to stay in a level for that long, the coins need to come back. In story, of course, not in the gameplay. It doesn't happen in the gameplay, but there's a lot of things that I'm distorting about the gameplay here, such as the fact that everyone collects the coins in a shared coin counter. Pretty sure that doesn't happen. Maybe in the multiplayer hack it might, but I'm not playing a multiplayer hack. I'm literally using 1 Mario each per scene. And using some clever masking tools. Clever in quotes. Yeah, did you see I went right through him? Yeah, I had to, for that scene, I had to put a, no hurt code on because of the fact that I didn't want, in this story, he doesn't get invincibility frames, so I'm not gonna force him to do so if the story doesn't say, oh yeah, he's supposed to get invincibility frames here. Might have been a nice place if I'd actually studied the area a bit more, but I didn't actually do that, so missed opportunity. YTR Warners, haha, this is Jaber now. Yes, I did ask him for the fix up of the CC because he'd like given me a color code change. So I'm like, oh, do you want your thing changed? And he's like, alright, so I did it and showed him and did what I did with basically everybody else. And it changed a lot in terms of color codes. He likes to play funny with me, saying he only changed like 4 times instead of 5. He actually did have 5 color codes because I've been keeping track of my giant list of CCs, which is all organized because folders. And I wanted to make a point about that I've like had to alternate between like 4 different color codes whilst using Smas. But he likes to think that other color code that he changed in between didn't exist. Do you want to call it like 2.5 or something? Because it still happened. But I wanted to make a point about that in the script. And almost a year ago, I was supposed to be referencing Blooper 44. But again, there was only so much you can do with a video that's literally just meeting scenes. There's a lot of off-screen headcanons you can have. This was a joke. This was a joke on the Skype group at around the time. I think when I scripted it, it was way past it though. Whenever someone would bug him about how Frozen was, he'd be annoyed. So I decided, oh yeah, I could make a 4th dimensional joke about this since it's Frozen and it starts with an F and it's also got an R, and I can make it Frozen. Ha ha ha, I'm funny. I'm not really, but again, I thought, hey, let's make the reference in the script, and I did it. By the time like anybody got around to watching it, it was way past the point of where he was even apathetic to the joke at all. Yeah, I even have to clarify to you. Because back then we were still making jokes about that because of how recent the movie was at the time. You could hear it from the other side of the thing that was meant to be a cartoon logic kind of joke with a loud voice of agony, and then other people hear it and it's like, oh, okay. He collected the last coin. He shouldn't have, really. Because then the star won't appear. That shouldn't have happened. You can't actually see the counter, but in story they're supposed to have 100 coins already. I needed to bring up this situation in case it happened. And it did. They'll get the chance. It's because of the energy that's happening inside of the characters that are trapped right now. The energy inside them reacts with the star when they're trapped, so the star won't even show because of the fact that it's got that weird energy in them. The characters that don't and haven't in the story, those characters allow it to appear because the energy is not inside of them yet. No, they had enough. I'm joking, I'm just making a random rivalry between the two because why not? I could have elaborated on it later, but considering relationships and the fact that practically 80% of the people in this series are people I don't know anymore, it kind of hurts. This was the part of the script where I began to just fail at trying to make Smuss try to be a bit snarky. Also, the first time I make a typo in a video, don't cover that up. These things. It was things in the script, but I didn't go over it because of the way I was watching it. I was watching for disable resample, I wasn't watching for typos. Osiris's, sorry about that. YTR Warners, ha 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 ha. I'm tossing them in levels at this point because I need to get them out of the way, and I just need to give them their appearance with their 40 counterpart before I can end up continuing the rest of the story. You can imagine what happens off screen on your own accord. They'll get out, of course, but that's up to the individual people themselves. If they even care. I would say rather than form, but since we had similar personalities, I thought it might be fine to just have her say it in her mind. It technically is the fact that Starman's on the top floor through the door up from the stairs rather than being in this room, because that would have just been so close. That's actually kind of music synced, even though I didn't intend it. This is around the time I started downloading a few more soundtracks, because, yeah. They did save it, but they're still inside. I thought, why not have one of the heroes actually stay inside the level since he's around his friend now? It doesn't really matter because of the way the story is structured. Again, you can headcanon yourself out of there any way you wanted to, if you even cared. I doubt they do because of how long it's been since they began caring. If they even cared that much at all. Having this version of the song come up is so difficult. I'm not actually, I didn't actually like rip Super Mario 64. I just got like the song from YouTube and then I skipped to the point where that part of the song begins. It's the most annoying thing because of the fact that it starts literally in the middle of the song. The way OSTs are set up, it's not easy to get that specific part of the song working. It was not easy. Nowadays, I'd probably use a different version that actually incorporates both into the same pit, rather than one or the other, unless I needed one or the other for a specific bit, but most likely I'd be using the combined version that I ripped from the remake, the DS version. She doesn't know this. It's again that thing from episode 1, where Jinden thought Akim was in Lethal Lava Land and like it actually happened. She thinks it's happening, it's actually happening, but she doesn't know it. It's that script, it's that jinx, that coincidence of events that I tend to repeat often, clearly, but it's not like I'm being Simon 3 where I think, oh yeah, she's psychically looking in on the scene. She literally doesn't know, she's just theorizing since both of them are still in there, along with their counterparts. And it's a very good theory, and it's what's actually happening, but she's not going to know that. And she's not going to find out. Well, you know, the real version of herself, watching the video, probably understands watching what's going on, since, you know, real people are not idiots. Because of how he would banish people if they so even like said a word about anyone else that's not in the group that is supposedly a banned person, I decided to incorporate that. Remember, this story takes place in March 2014. Several months after this, the months in which I'm releasing these parts, of course, it's normal for them to be talking normally as they would be. Let's toss some more characters outside. There's still too many inside. And the reason why they're relying on me so much is because I'm the one who sent them on this mission in the first place. They're doing it because I'm there. It's not like they're favoritizing me or something. It's because, since I know the most of what's going on and I sent them on this plan in the first place, they need to care so much so that I know what's going on so that I can, you know, chase down Vindimka, since that's my priority. Technically theirs, since they also want to care as well. So, I'm not trying to favoritize myself here, it's just in story, the favoritism is just, it's a natural thing that's going on. They're now sleeping again. Again, another of the potential coincidences. Let me stop it right there before it gets too cheerful. Hints! You'll notice I'm using a lot more Kirby music this part. I actually, own now Kirby Triple Deluxe. I didn't get Planet Robobot because it was too similar to Triple Deluxe for me. From just looking at it. It might not be, but it just looked similar, so, and I had too many other things going on to play it, so. But when I played through Triple Deluxe, there were a lot of songs in that I thought would be useful for downloading, and I have practically almost the entire soundtrack in my thing, so I'm using a lot of Kirby music this part because of that, because of my exposure to the series. I love hints, seriously. Let's also move some more characters around, sheesh. It's as annoying as the compression thing from Arc 3, and I was like, oh wait, this is gonna get just as annoying, isn't it? Great, I need to script a bit more creatively now. If you didn't see him before turn, then you're probably an idiot. I'm kidding. I did my research with this. I had to go through literally every single part of Into the Fourth Dimension, write down their names, and maybe go to the wiki at some points because maybe some of them were there, but in other parts, woo, they weren't. So I had to just literally go and write every single level name down so I could actually make sure the characters can actually legitimately remember it. Yes, I love making scenes where I consistently mask several times over. It's better than one person's scenes all the time, which is mostly what you're seeing. Yeah, both of them are pretty crazy. X-Death was crazy himself, and Akin is pretty much self-explanatory if you watch my other videos. But Akin knows that they need to collect 100 coins. They haven't met before. Making the connections. Let's stir up some drama! It's not going to happen for long, trust me. Because they're not real, and Starman 3 didn't want to put them in the YTR, let's put that in giant quotes, because Mario and Luigi and Alberto aren't YTR members for the literal exact same reasons, so it was difficult. Oh yeah, they're not actually members because they're not actually members. So, let's make a dumb joke here about it. With the characters who barely know each other. That's his logic right now. Also, yes, I made Quakin's color code by myself. I made all of my character OC's color codes by myself. I didn't ask Starman 3 to make some random thing up. I made them all alone with differing logic in each of them. Quakin's is a lot of color reversal and color darkening and lightening in certain areas, and reversals, because this is sort of green where the overall should be green, and like this is orange where this would be brown, and this would be kind of brown too, and this You seeing the similarities? Yeah. Yet the shirt and hair are very similar. I didn't want the fourth dimension to just turn into reversals the dimension. So any counterpart is working off a logic, but they're working off a different kind of logic each time. Just so they look different, so then they don't end up all looking like, oh yeah, that's my color code but reverse. And I actually tried that and it didn't exactly go very well. So I then changed it and the results ended up a lot better. And a lot of those results ended up being a lot of the color codes you may have already seen. Starman 3 made a video for Sinbad, and also for Fawn as well, where he allowed Sinbad to meet his fourth dimensional counterpart in the usual scene where they say, oh yeah, I'm your counterpart, and they didn't do much at all. So, X-Death as a person was very close to Sinbad in the group. They were close Minecraft friends and basically would defend one another in any circumstance. So it was easy for me to pinpoint a reference right there. Sinbad isn't in this series nor any of my series because of the way he acted towards me and others, so he's just referenced. He's not actually in my series, but he's referenced. But I did reconsider, and I'm thinking about putting him in the future as some kind of joke like Starman 3 is, because of the way he acted, and especially considering how loud he was. He's the equivalent of the typical 12-year-old, stereotypical 12-year-old child on voice chat on the internet. So that's my plans with him, but in this series, he's not in it. In March of 2014, I didn't actually have any interaction with Sinbad at all. It was mostly interaction with Starman 3 himself. Okay, that one I was actually collecting 100 coins. Because you can see it's gameplay footage, and I'm just like, I literally record the whole time and then I skip to the point where I need to. I thought, after using the code several times, I thought I really need to be more legit with this. So I actually went around the level and collected 100 coins, and I would only record, I would only put the bit in the video where they're actually collecting the star. See, it's realized very quickly. Akin's the character that jokes around when it's not necessary and is serious when he needs to be. So he's kind of plain here, but that's kind of the point. Because once the whole situation's finished, he will literally go back to flying around Womp's Fortress Akin again. I hadn't used that, and there was no way I was going to use it since it's a safe area, so I thought, oh, that can be like another hub world, put that in quotes, for the characters, so... And since they're yellow and the mushrooms there are yellow, Quackin's favourite place. Ha 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 ha. I was downloading a lot of other soundtracks too, such as the remainder of the Diamond and Pearl soundtrack, which I hadn't had for, like, ages. I don't know why I skipped out on it, seriously. Let me comment on that, as if you thought he was too plain before. There's a reason. I only have like 6 people down there. only 7 levels left, which, wait, 6 levels left, which would basically be done very quickly. I'm thinking 7 because that's 10, like, if it was a 9th part, there would be 7 parts until the end. Hi. But in the levels, there's 15 levels. 9 done. 6. Where'd my math go? At least the sniffer dog at least tells them where to go now. Again, when they weren't guarding the door. Inverted color scheme this time. Or sort of inverted. It's not exactly, oh, I color picked your color and then inverted it here. Ha ha ha. No, I shaded it properly. Ever wondered why he was near the door? Yes, he literally just walked in and did it. He ran up the stairs before in complete silence, so I thought I'd do a similar thing again. And so does the audience. Yes, you wouldn't believe how small this place is in actuality. The main size thing you have going on here is how big the river and pond is. That's it. The rest of it is really small and full of a ton of invisible walls everywhere. The other place it's nearly as offensive as Hurl Your Harbour or Chuck Your Harbour. No thanks to the camera in this place. I liked Bob. I wanted to use Bob more, so I put Bob in here. Since he's supposedly supposed to be here, I put him here. They watched into the 4th dimension too. This is problematic because the bomb stares at the player, so I wanted Bob to stare at the Apollo's counterpart here, and then you're telling me, why didn't you mask? There's Goombas in the background moving. It's almost and an amp. It's literally like the butterflies. So there's no way I could have masked in the scene if I wanted him to stand there. And this object standing here, I didn't exactly want him to be standing on that. So my only option was to have Bob stare at the Apollo 10. It's almost like the scene was connected right there! With the amp because of the fact that it went forward and then it went towards the 10 in the next scene. That wasn't intentional, but apparently that happened. It moves so fast, you might as well call it a connection between scenes. Masking that scene was terrible. Now we're just getting to counterpart scenes where I literally just gave up in general. since he's already 14, I needed to do something since blue 14 is not the fourth counterpart. So I added 4 to the number so it would make a bit more sense. Haha, I added 4. Do you get it? Kill me later. This again was me collecting actually 100 coins. I couldn't go a run through this level without using the music recorded from this place. I can't believe nobody literally recorded it until I had done so. That's the worst shot ever, but he's collecting the star, as you can clearly see. Well, he's not collecting it, he's using it. That's the whole point of the series. Bob gets another cameo, how fun. Part 14's a lot more interesting than this. This is just in-between filler, really. He doesn't know what happened. He's talking about his Smuss. He went and mellowed a music mess, and now DS10's like, oh, so our Smuss went there. And that's what happened to him. Imagine a big long explanation happening beforehand. I did not like masking that scene at all. Also, I did not disable resample this scene properly when I was looking over it, and I look really stupid now for not doing that. And this scene too. If you notice this particular version of the Mario Party song now is actually the actual version with the proper sound. I actually figured out a different ripping technique, and it's a ripping technique I now use for every Nintendo DS game I rip the sound out of now. It's it's actually getting at the files, but you don't actually see their file names. You just have to listen. So you have to listen for the sound. So I ended up fixing it now after all this time. As these various stars have proven in some cases. Let's get them out of the scene so then they don't have to bother while the rest of the YTR Warners come in. More hints that something's going to happen later on. And she's talking about Forda, not Jinder. That's actually true. I also remembered these characters don't know their counterparts yet. Because Mario Dylan has only been relegated to Christmas specials beforehand, and Jinder has come to the fourth dimension for the first time, both of them are completely new to the place. And I looked. Mario Dylan didn't explore into the fourth dimension. So this is his first time because Sama 3 didn't put him in otherwise because of the way he handled Mario Dillon. Otherwise, Mario Dillon would literally only appear in Christmas specials. Thanks. That's a way to treat your friend. I gave up on the meeting scenes. Let's make the second million joke out of this. Not really easy to make a cartridge tilting joke when you're when the floor is covered in a graphic filter. Let's not do these meeting scenes 15 million times the exact same way, so I'm going to make some characters know already. And besides, dimensional similarity theory. Along with me giving up on the scene in general. This scene took about 5 tries to mask. This particular run, when I had to collect the 100 coins, took about 3 or 4 times because of the way I kept messing up this last shot. Another YTL Warner, you literally just jumped in. I'm not even going to provide the scene from the outside. The 4 heroes that are not Lance and the other guy escaped. Part 14 will be way more interesting than this. I do admit this is a very lackluster part. Only watch this if you wanted to go through the slow journey with me. And the hints. See y'all, have a good day, peace, and when I next commentate, we'll be commentating over part 14, so see you then.